Hi, hello.
Hi everyone. So I am Sakar. I'm from Indonesia and I am doing Bachelor of Communications. I'm majoring in Public Relations and
This is Ismail. I am from Oman. I'm doing geology at Queensland. It's my final year. As you know, UQ one of the top 50 universities around the world, and we are standing at the moment is in the Advanced Engineering Building, one of the newest building in UQ.
Yep. So
As you can
today,
see, we just want to show you the labs here, the practical labs, and also
yep.
within this building actually there's a lecture theater has a capacity for around 500 students. That's really right. It's really
Okay.
big.
It's so big, and we want to show it a bit more later. So we're gonna head upstairs to the other of the team, and we'll see you a little bit later.
A little bit there.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome to UQ. My name is Hassan and I'm your host today. And with me I have Amara for Student Services, and with me my fellow student investors. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Pakistan and I'm studying mechanical engineering here, and I'll ask my fellow investors to introduce themselves.
Right, so I'm Alia, I'm from Malaysia. I'm studying the Bachelor of Business Management and I'm in my final year, so I've been here for 2.5 years so far.
So my name is Rainy and I'm studying biomedical science. So I'm currently doing some research at the Queensland Brain Institute, and this is my 4th year here as well.
Alright guys, just to let you know, we are live in actual UQ building here, so there are people around us walking by, doing their thing. The idea was to give you the actual UQ experience, so be mindful of all the differences we have, and also like to talk to you about that you guys have to ask us questions, and we like to hear from you guys. So ask any questions that you have, and they'll all be answered. We try to answer them live if we could, if you have the time. Otherwise, we have a UQ team, and they'll answer all your questions. So we're gonna announce the first poll. So Alia?
Yep, just waiting for the first call. So what continent are you guys watching us from?
So guys, we have Amara here, introduced earlier from Student Services. She'll be talking about your accommodation options and other different things Student Services here in UQ offers students, like in terms of what kind of help they need. So Student Services is there to help you out with any kind of problems you have, and she'll be talking about that. And what do we have? And the second half of the webinar will focus on the employability options, and we have specialists here, and he will be talking about the employability later on in the webinar.
Alright, so we just got the results from the poll.
Yeah.
79% of you guys are watching us from Asia, so that's a big majority of you guys. We've got 8% from Africa, 2% from Europe, 4% from North America, 8% from Oceania, and 2% in South America.
There's one from Antarctica.
Nice.
Okay. I hope there's one from Antarctica.
That's good.
Right.
All right, I'll hand it over to Amara to talk about a little about Student Services, what they offer.
Great.
Please.
Hi everyone. So my name is Amara. I'm one of the International Student Advisors from Student Services. And here we have a range of supports available to you when you come to study here. So one of them being an International Student Advisor. We can help you with settling in and adjusting to life here at UQ. Sometimes we understand that when you come here, you can have the challenges of homesickness and adjusting to the culture. So we can definitely help you with some strategies. We also have learning advisors who can help you to work on your study skills, assignment writing tips, and just how to be more successful with your studies here. We also have counselling support, so that's some more confidential type of support for some deeper concerns, and again some strategies and tips on how to manage that along with your studies here. And then we have our accommodation support, so an accommodation advisor can meet with you to understand a bit about what are your accommodation needs, tenancy in Australia, how to rent, what are your rights and responsibilities. I will go into that a little bit further in a moment, We also have disability support. So if you have an illness or an injury or a mental health condition that is affecting your study here at UQ, you can get some support put in place to ensure that your studies are not affected by that. So we deliver that support one-on-one and also in a workshop setting. So definitely come and access our support when you are here. And then in terms of accommodation, you have 3 options pretty much. So the first one being approved providers. So this is student purpose-built accommodation. This, I guess, has an opportunity for you to create a community, meet other students. They are located near public transport and they have a lot of activities. The second one being your residential colleges. So these ones are on campus and they have your food catered for. Again, there's a lot of activities. There's a lot of engagement. Maybe some of you might want to share your experiences of any of those. You've had?
Stay in student accommodation.
Student accommodation?
Yeah, so I stay in a student accommodation here, so it's located in South Bank. First of all, South Bank is very pretty, it's very, very good. Everything is there, all restaurants and all entertainment stuff, cinemas. South Bank is literally the place that I think is very suitable for me.
Very distracting.
No, not distracting. And for the student accommodation itself, I feel like as a student I'm very being supported by living in a student accommodation because they provide us like a range of different activities for the residents there, and also they sometimes provide us like free foods because that's what I like. Free foods and free fruits also. So it kept me healthy, and also also they have cinemas, and also they have free gyms for us to use. So I think living in a student accommodation is one of a good option. Yeah.
Does it help when you come, like I guess if you're here alone and without family, does the environment there help you to have a better experience?
Yeah, so the good thing is it actually really helped because I don't have any families here. My families are back home. So they want me to feel secure, they want me to feel safe, and they want me to have a good and vibrant environment to live on because they know I am a vibrant person. So yeah, so I think by living in a student accommodation, I did make a good choice because yeah, I feel like I always have friends there because I live with some of my flatmates as well. So I have my own room for my for like my me time quality, but then I also can make a lots of new friends there. Yeah.
Nice.
And probably Ismail, you share your experience
Yeah,
as well?
one of the good options also homestay family. I have been living with the homestay family. I'm getting my 4th year actually, and actually they treat me one of their kids. That's really nice, and it reflects also in my academic performance. And the good thing with the homestay family, you don't cook; they will cook for you. They pay the bills. They pay the bills. You just have to pay the rent, and you don't have to think about the rest of the stuff. Also, in the weekend, sometimes hang out with them, with their family, and that by itself, it's really reflecting, as I said, in your academic performance. And also, it's not about also coming to Australia and study at University of Queensland. It's also about getting involved with Australian culture and learn about these things. It's by itself, it's a full experience. It's really good to enjoy the full experience, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alia, Rainy,
Yeah,
would you like to share?
I've had a bit of everything. So I also started off with a homestay because I was under 18, and it's actually really a good idea to start with a homestay. It just really helps you with transition, and my homestay family cooked really nice meals for me, and on day one you just need someone to take you to the bank to open up your bank account and get your Translink Go card. So all of that, if someone can walk you through that, it's just so nice. And then I transitioned to living on my own after I was above 18, and that was a different but also a very interesting experience because now it's time for you to be more independent.
Well, fortunately, when I came here 2.5 years ago, I knew some friends who came back from home from here. So what we did, we just found an apartment to rent, and we moved in together. And it's a bit complicated when you're at a new place and you're renting a house for the first time, but with your friends and ask people for help, it's not too hard, and it's a really good experience. You get to live on your own. Of course, you have to cook by yourself and
Yeah.
do your own laundry, but yeah, it's fun living with your friends, so it's been a good experience. Yeah.
So to wrap up on that, what you've just touched on is the private market as well, so private rental, so that is the other option. So there are those three options with the student purpose-built accommodation, the residential colleges, and then the private rentals. I guess one thing that UQ recommends is guaranteed accommodation is where we can organise your accommodation if you want to pre-book it before you arrive. So ensuring you have a secure spot in the residential colleges or the purpose-built accommodation. So that's something to think about.
Nice.
And touching on the under 18 support, so if you are under 18, we do have a transition advisor who does a lot of work with those of you who are under 18, and there is a lot of support with adjusting and settling in and specific programs in place. So there is a lot of support in terms of helping you to settle in and transition into your uni life.
I might add something in terms of the homestay family. There's like a Australian homestay networking who organizes all this to get to the homestays. Actually, it's very good program they have. Like they will ask you certain questions if you have special requests in terms of the food, the place you prefer. They will give you sometimes all the options of the family they have, and you can choose it by yourself, which is really good thing.
I guess touching on that, UQ itself provides all kinds of help. Like there's everything UQ has in terms of helping you. It's just that you have to reach out. So whatever you need, you have to just ask. That's the thing here. So no one's gonna come to you. So when you come here or you while you're in your country, you just have to ask a question, and there's gonna be someone to help you out with. And from my own experience in terms of accommodation, I suggest is that students, first of all, when they come here, should probably stay in a student accommodation. So it's like a safe environment. So they get used to the city, the area, so they know how the country is and the people are. And probably around when they're in a student accommodation, they can find friends and they get to know them, and maybe afterwards they can move out and find their own accommodation. Yeah.
Just gives you that sense of safety, I think,
Exactly.
when you're coming to a new place.
Yeah.
And you know everyone's in the same situation,
Yeah.
and there's support.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly,
really-
and
yeah.
exactly. So you're familiar with the culture and everything as well. So you
Yeah.
basically, I guess, because I came here, I was like, it was my first time abroad, first time on a plane. I was anxious, like I was scared.
That's normal.
So when I moved in a shared house, so I didn't go to a student accommodation. I went to a shared house, and I didn't know what was going on basically. So it took me like a few months to learn about the country and to understand what's going on. But luckily, I was, I guess, lucky enough to meet good people, and I did have some weird experiences, but I probably wouldn't go there. But so that's why I suggest strongly that when you come here for the first time, that you get yourself into a student accommodation or accommodation that UQ provides you.
And to help with that, there's also the airport transfers
Oh,
that
yeah.
we do as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
free pickup from the airport. So I don't know if any of you have used it, but that's something to definitely help your smooth transition out, especially after you've been on a long flight and you've just come here and you're a bit confused, someone to take you from the airport to your
Yeah.
accommodation.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't used it, but I've been there in terms of helping students, like
Right.
being a host in terms of on behalf of UQ.
Yeah.
So, and one thing I'll tell you all you guys, because I've been there, like greeting all you guys, don't bring food, because it slows down everything. Anyway, I guess.
Not on the airport bus, but I know that UQ has a night bus. So for any of you
Yes,
who is concerned
yes,
about
yes.
safety, like my parents always are worried about my safety at night because when it's approaching finals, you might want to stay in the library, and so don't worry, there's a night bus, and I think there's actually a safety app as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, our safety here is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So the bus actually goes until past midnight.
Yeah.
And it takes you for free in a little van around St. Lucia. So, if you live
Yeah.
in the suburb next door or on campus, say you're on one part of the campus and you're going to the next part of the campus, you feel safe all
Yeah,
the time.
absolutely.
Yeah, there's also an app on the phone where, if you want a security guard to walk you across campus just for 5 minutes, you can
Yeah.
request for one
Yeah.
and he will just do that. So,
Yeah. Safety is really good.
yes, have you guys used the bus?
I have used it.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
it
it's
because I don't
free
use
service, so why not?
Yeah. And you don't have to worry about walking home at 3 o'clock.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
actually the environment here is so safe. You don't really have to worry about everything. Like it's really safe and it's really good.
So, you guys want to talk about life at UQ? How's your experience been? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
Well, I really like it actually. I found really my good friends here.
Yeah.
One of the good things actually is to get involved in the societies here.
Oh, absolutely.
So many societies here, and UQ by itself, it's a small like city.
Oh, it is.
Everything it is actually, it has everything. So if you want to get away from studies, sometimes there's a lot of things to do, a lot of sports around the uni, a lot of practical workshops. They have like daily practical workshops, teaching leadership skills, presentation skills, like that sort of things actually. You can find it like through the website of UQ actually. Like this is by itself, it helps me actually a lot to get involved with this. I've been president 2 years with one of the societies, and by itself, like it's really platform for me to show my potential, you know, among
Absolutely.
What are your guys' thoughts on the weather?
Oh.
It's nice. It's
Right now,
What I
sunny.
love about Queensland in general is because it's like the sunshine state.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yes.
Queensland, it's usually always sunny. There's always the sun. Doesn't get too cold in winter. Doesn't get too hot during summer. So
I disagree. I disagree with that. It gets really
It's
sticky. It gets really humid. It
okay,
gets
but
really
it's
hot.
too cold.
But
So
just-
winter is
yeah.
definitely bearable for those who are coming, from the hot
Yeah.
parts of the world, like in Asia, and it doesn't get too cold there. So you don't have to worry about the winter here because
Winter is just, I guess, a pleasant time of the year that you can still wear t-shirts around the daytime. I think it's just at night time you just have to get a blanket. That's it, basically.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
winter here in Brisbane. But what do you guys think of Australia as a country? Have you been able to had a chance to go around?
I'll
Have
just
you had
pass
experience?
the car that I had now.
Yeah.
Me and Rainy are gonna do another live cross, and so we'll meet you in a few minutes right outside.
All right.
I'll see you later.
you
Bye. Yeah, so as you were asking,
Yeah.
the weather in Australia, I think it's awesome. So
What's the weather like? The country itself as
The
well. Like, what do you
country-
like here? What do you
the
think is good here?
the people are
yeah.
very nice.
Yeah?
Actually, the people are
really friendly. That's good.
Yeah, we're kind of like squishing here a bit,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
How was it when you first got here, like understanding the bus and where to shop and all of that?
It was actually pretty easy
Okay.
because all of the information are like provided to us, and even though
Yeah.
we can't really seem to get through all of the information, we can always ask someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how
Absolutely.
you said before, like asking someone, like ask as much of a question as you
Yeah.
can because people are very helpful here. So.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
ask.
Really welcome people.
Yeah. The first experience I had when I came here was actually like I knew English, I could read and write, but I was getting used to the accent. So that's something I think it's different. So you're not used to it. So when I came here, my first experience, I was actually went to Tasmania,
Oh,
and I was at the market, and the guy was talking to me, but I couldn't understand anything. And my auntie was standing right next to me, and she was smoking because she could see I was blank. I didn't know. And later on, she asked me up, like, "Did you understand anything?" I was like, "No." And I think that's one thing that takes
Fair enough.
time to get used to eventually. But it's nice though. Like it's English, but it's different kind of English. I'd say.
Interesting,
Depends
actually.
with the slangs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the poll results has came in now. So have you visited Brisbane before? 15%, only 15%
Oh.
has answered yes. 80% answered no, and only 5% answered no. But I have been to Australia before. So most of you haven't actually came to Brisbane
15%, that's pretty.
it's pretty.
15, 15,
It's
yeah,
alright, I
okay,
mean.
that's alright, but like 80% no. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
we look forward for you to all come in here
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Brisbane is a very, very beautiful place. So
Yeah, Brisbane. Yeah, it's very convenient as well. Like especially, I think, like finding your way around the city is pretty convenient, and you have your ferry, you have your buses. Anyway, we'll continue on that later. We're just gonna have a crossover to our two other ambassadors, and they're gonna show a bit of the campus.
Hi guys, so it's Alia here again, and it's Rainy here. So right now we're on the balcony outside of the building that you saw earlier. Big building. So this building is usually referred to as the Google building by many students because, as you saw in the beginning, when Sakar and Ismail were live crossing the front, the building was really new and cool and fancy, kind of like a Google tech thing. And so it's a really nice place, and it's one of the newest buildings on campus.
Yeah, and you guys have to check out the jacarandas there. It's
right? So we're just gonna flip you around. Take a look at our view. So as you can see, UQ Lake, you can see a lot of the purple trees. They are the jack so that's an indication my exams are coming. And also there's lots of animals around the lake. So what animals have you seen? So I've always eaten my lunch here on the lake. I've seen ducks, I've seen little dragon lizards, I've seen little turtles, and they're all really friendly. Yeah, turtles sometimes hatch eggs. If you're lucky, you can see them. So over there we have some student accommodation colleges as well. So how beautiful is that? Just imagine waking up to this beautiful lake view every day. So those were the on-campus accommodation options that Amara was speaking to you about earlier. So if you do want to live on campus, that's how near you are to campus. You literally just have to walk a couple of minutes, and every day your view is of the lake. So we're just going to step down for a bit and take you across to the other side of the building. All right, the weather is quite nice. Yeah, it's been raining for the last week, so. But yeah, the most nice area. Let me just try to show you. Over there, right behind me, you can see there's a bridge. Right there, that's the bridge that takes you across the river. So if you do decide to live, you know, on your own in an apartment somewhere and you live across the river, that's where you'll go with buses. Behind me right there, you can see the view of the city. So we're about 10 minutes a bus ride from the city, so not too far. Yeah, and somewhere buried in there, there's also a ferry station, so you can actually catch, what do you call it, City Cat, and then you can cruise around along the beautiful Brisbane River and get to your home. So basically, transportation here is really, really convenient. Yes. I've lived at a couple of places, and I can always take a bus to wherever I want. Yeah, I've never had bad experience with the public transport here. I mean, there's an app, and you can always see if it's delayed, if it's coming on time. Most of the time, they are always on time, and they're very frequent as well. Like most of them are like every 10 to 15 minutes. And a great thing about it is that with the buses, the ferries, and the trains, they all cost the same. And as international students, we get 50% off. So how great does that sound? Highly recommend. Right, so down there, we've got a little activity going down. It's a UQ Union, one of the societies. They're having a little activity that, because of the area, it's a really big place, and so that's where it hosts. And so, yeah, that's the view of our balcony view. So, right, we're just gonna go back inside, and we'll see you guys there. Bye. Bye.
All right, welcome back, guys. And hopefully you enjoyed the view of UQ and could have had the view of how amazing the campus is, and how green it is, how amazing it is. So right now we have with us is Daniel Kappa. He's from UQ Employability. Today is going to talk about what UQ Employability offers to students when they are UQ students here, and how to help them, I guess, find a job. I guess that's the main aspect of it, I hope. Yeah. I think. Please, up to you.
Thanks. Well, yeah, I'm from the UQ Career Service, but we're so much more than just about jobs, because I know a lot of students, when they first arrive in Australia, they're going, the reason why I've come is I want to really improve who I am as a person. And ultimately, it is about having a job.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Yeah. But as I mentioned, we're so much more than just a job.
Yeah.
Because really at UQ, we're about total employability. So UQ, when they're talking about employability, they actually mean all the experiences you've had during your time while you've been at university, combined with the skills, the attributes that you've brought from maybe casual jobs, work experience you've been involved in. Yeah. Putting that all together into one package, and then being able to present yourself to a future employer. So to do that, UQ has actually created an employability framework, and I actually come from the Student Employability Centre, which is where the UQ Career Service actually sits. And what we've done is we've created a framework where, first of all, for students, we start with awareness. Because really, you need to be aware of what is it about you that makes you special and unique and is going to make you attractive to an employer. Because if you don't know who you are and what it is about you, it makes it really, really challenging. The second key pillar that you need in employability is experiences. Because oftentimes when you go and meet an employer for the first time, they'll say, that's really wonderful, you got a degree. What else did you do? What else have you been doing when you came to Australia? Did you have a casual job? Were you part of a student association? Did you have a leadership role? Tell me more, because you want to create something that's going to distinguish you from the other person that comes in. So we look at providing experiences. Then the third key pillar is learning. How do you interpret these experiences? For example, what are you going to take away from them? You might have been part of a student association and you were the president. What does that mean? What did you have to do? And part of your role might have been that you were presenting to large groups of people, so you developed your communication skills. Perhaps you were involved in fundraising, and that meant that you had to create relationships with businesses. So all of this becomes part of who you are, but you need to know what is it that you're taking away from each of those experiences, and how is that building you as a person?
Absolutely.
And then the final key pillar to the framework is translation of these experiences. How are you going to take those experiences and be able to talk about them to an employer? Because the employer is going to say, that's great that you came to Australia. Why did you choose to come here? What has that given you that it hasn't given anyone else? And for an international student, I guess the thing that they've done that's different than any other student is they've taken a risk. They've stepped outside their comfort zone and they've come to an unusual culture, a place they're unfamiliar with. But they are ahead of so many other people because they've taken a step that an Australian student hasn't. They can talk about how they are comfortable with who they are and they're confident and they're courageous enough to make a difference in the world. An employer's going to go, wow, that's something really spectacular. That is truly amazing. So when we're working with students, we start right from our first consultation, where we're working with people to develop up an action plan to say, where are you at the moment? Where do you actually want to go? And what are we going to do along the way to get you there? Okay. So that action plan then might involve recommending different services that are available in the university, going to workshops, because as a service we offer a variety of workshops, everything from how to write an application, how to prepare a resume, how to conduct an interview, because of course you go, what am I supposed to say to an employer? So we can help people with that aspect as well. Then of course networking is a very important part. How do you meet new people? How do you create relationships? Because a lot of jobs are never actually advertised. It's often found through meeting people, people giving you hints and tips and clues, and that's what we want to be able to teach people, to take those and how to utilise them and develop up a unique package, because really every person is very different, and it's about you saying to the employer, the reason why I'm the best person for the job is I can do this for you. I can hit the ground running that no one else can. So that's why it's so important. You want to be able to have a whole toolkit of tools available and a whole toolkit of experiences. And even for yourselves here today, you know, you want to be able to take away experiences that you've had while at university and be able to explain to an employer, what did that mean? You know, for example, conducting a webinar like you are today. What has this given you that it hasn't given anyone else? And I'd say, first of all, it's about communication. How are you able to take what you were given, but be able to make it understandable and digestible to the audience that's out there? And the interpersonal skills, what sort of relationship have you created with each other? Because you all have great rapport. It looks like you've been lifelong friends, but perhaps you've only just met. So how did you develop that? Because an employer, when they're looking at you, is going to go, we want individuals that can interact with our clients and our customers to create a relationship so that they buy from us, whether that's a consultancy service, a retail product, a project, could be anything. But what you've got is you've got transferable skills that can move from one job to the other. Because oftentimes preparing for one job is actually going to prepare you for up to 13 of your future jobs. Because each of those skills that you gather and collect will actually be used in ongoing roles. And really when you look at employability, it's about developing the whole of you. Because we're not 100% certain what are going to be the exact jobs of the future. For example, in 10 years' time, what's the new latest trend? What's the job that everyone's going to be in? And most people go, how does that work? How do you not know what jobs are going to happen? I always speak about examples of social media. 10 years ago, really social media didn't exist. It was very new. Companies didn't use it to speak about products or themselves. But now, every organisation in the world would have a social media coordinator, a consultant that is speaking to them about how to present themselves. What are you tweeting about? What's on your Facebook account? Are you developing a WeChat platform? What is it that's connecting you? Because one bad tweet and all of a sudden share price goes bang. So they're looking for people that are experts in social media. But 10 years ago, this job didn't exist. But people who have high-level communication skills, but also technical ability, were able to adapt themselves to these new types of roles. And they're now at the forefront of an industry that's just growing exponentially. So for us, it's really about saying there's possibilities, and we want to make sure you're as flexible and adaptable as possible. Because for us at UQ, employability is not just about your first job. Most people only stay in their first job for about 18 months, 2 years. We're more about what's your next job? What's the one after that? Where are you going to take your expertise? What industry are you going to put those into? So we try to give you a holistic approach. What are you going to go? The world is my possibility. And it's about your version of success and what you will achieve. So for some people it might be about financial success, earning a large salary. For other people it might be about making a mark on this world, creating a legacy. So for example, solving pollution in the world, maybe poverty, healthcare problems. Or for others it might be purely about their education. What is it that they want to gain in terms of their knowledge? Or perhaps they have an idea that I just want to be happy. I want to wake up on a Monday morning and be happy with the job I go to. Everyone has a different interpretation, and really for us at UQ, it's about getting you to identify what is it that's your version of success. We then allow you to understand what do you have that's going to make you different from other people. What extras do you need? For example, what gaps happen? So there's lots of that. So as you can see, I've spoken a lot about experiences. Have you guys got any unique experiences that you want to speak about?
In terms of, I've got part-time. So I went to, so a lot of times when you go for part-time jobs here, it's a lot of people tend to apply online, but as I said, they're not advertised. This is like a small skill thing. So I just went up to dressed up nicely, had a nice haircut, went to the manager and said, I'm looking for a job. And he liked me. Later on, next day I got a call, he's like, I really liked you and I got a job, that's it. And also, you spoke about social media. And I later on talked to him a couple of months later, and I was talking to him, and he's like, we actually looked you up on your Facebook and see how you were and what things you were saying to know what kind of person you were. And I was like, okay, I had no idea they actually do that.
I hope all your privacy settings.
But there was some, we all have done stupid things in the past, so they were hopefully private, but I think there's some things here and there. But anyway, I think that what I'm trying to say is they look at that as well.
And I think that's it, because all of a sudden you've understood that it's about your branding, the image that you present. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we talk a lot about in our workshops. It's important to look at what are you presenting to the outside world? Because yes, you may have done some silly things that you've included, but how can you remove those? How are you going to create the professional image? Because all of a sudden you're now no longer just a student, you've got a professional self that you're presenting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've actually attended one of those workshops called Time to Shine, and it's all about branding yourself. It was really helpful. It's basically when you got all these experiences, how do you put them all together and make a theme and have a story so that when you are presented with your future employer, you don't not only have a traditional resume, but you possibly have a one minute pitch video. And the Student Employability Center is really great at both providing the experiences as well as helping you make those experiences count. And I'm very grateful for that myself. I know that the Student Employability Center actually produced an online course called Unlock Your Employability, which has everything that you need basically, and they also have an award, and basically with 3 pages of activities and experiences that you can undertake to count towards this award. So I've been using that as a guide, and I've had plenty of experiences from that, like attending conferences and doing summer research and things like that.
And that's it. There's some wonderful experiences that you've mentioned there. Like the Employability Award, which is offered through our office, is really taking the experiences you've got, teaching you how to put them into a framework so you're eligible for an extra award. And the Employability Award will actually go in your transcript. And for an employer, they're going to go, wow, this is something extra that other people don't have. And for you, it was just by putting yourself out there, trying some different things. And also you mentioned the research programs as well. So our office does a lot in undergraduate research, where we offer students the opportunity to spend time with researchers here at the university, develop up real life programs and experiments, and get paid for it through grants. And it's nice to know that you have grants and scholarships available that can help fund you, but at the same time build your employability. Or you might decide that you're going to extend yourself to do some outside conferences. We have a lot of students that might go down to Sydney or Melbourne to do a conference, and we'll help them with a grant to be able to get there. And of course that's another real world opportunity.
Yeah, and actually talking about experiences, and how you actually develop your own skill, like how you mentioned your own branding, like how do you know that? For me, I would just like to share a little bit. I kind of like feel that I know who I am. Well, I'm still kind of figuring out, but I know most of who I am. Like I know most of who I am, and I think that I develop all of that employability skills and skills for professionalism. I think it's through volunteering and also from all of the other extracurriculars. So it's something that I can get not inside class. So it's something that I can get outside the class, but it's not like sitting there in a lecture and listen to theories, but it's actually getting myself there and meet new people and kind of like practice my communication skills and practice my leadership skills and try to find what I'm passionate about. So yeah, I think, and also UQ provides a lot and a range of different kind of volunteering activities, right? So yeah, I've been doing a lot of those volunteering thing, and volunteering in UQ is a very great thing to do.
And the nice thing is we try to make it as easy for you as possible.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Even once a year we run a volunteer expo where we bring up to 100 not-for-profit organisations, and they're there ready and waiting for you to sign up with them. And they're so diverse, and they offer everything from maybe working on a fun run where you're organising drink bottles, right through to maybe fundraising activities or writing business proposals for them. So it depends on your level of interest, how much time you've got available. And the thing is, you don't need to go searching for it. It's right there, it's available.
It's provided.
I might talk about my experience with the internship. Actually, it was my 3rd semester, which is like impossible to get the opportunity, to work one of the companies. Actually, I worked with one of the international companies in my field, and like they emailed me. I emailed them first, and they emailed me back. I sent my CV, which I did through one of the workshops actually.
Oh, excellent.
And they were shocked actually.
Shocked how good it was.
Yeah, and I met a professional. I have a good friend actually who helped me actually through that as well. And then they emailed me back, and I went to the interview, and what was interesting, they didn't ask me any like technical questions. They were more about what I have done beside your studies. Your GPA was about to get a door, like to open the door to the interview, and then was about what you have done beside your studies. And they know we are in the care experience, we are students, and and we were like a group of 10, and I think I was the only one who chose me because was involved with many societies here. As I said, I was lucky enough to run a president role for 2 years, and that by itself like can be a great opportunity. And I worked with them for 6 weeks solid project for the company, which brings for them $1 million for that. And they called me back after what I did for the project. They called me back and say, your project was successful.
Oh,
We want you to continue with us next year. And I was lucky enough.
Amazing.
Because
that's a
what
career
they've
for
done is
myself.
They've also, it's like a try before you buy. Employers are there going, what are you capable of? What is that you're doing different than someone else? And especially in Australia, a lot of employers, when they carry out an interview, it's a behavioural interview.
Yeah.
They want to know how you're going to act. And usually the way you've acted in the past will be a representation of how you act in the future, the types of things you'll be successful at. So it's more than just your technical expertise.
Exactly. Especially if you are a fresh graduate, the first thing you will see, like, they're gonna teach you actually. You have that mind of thinking in terms of your like engineering or finance. You have that mind, but actually at the beginning, I'm not saying they treat you as useless, but they're gonna teach you actually. But what makes you different is your leadership skills, your communication skills. That's very critical thing to distinguish between the fresh graduates.
Yeah. And I also want to check that you're actually a nice person to be around, because remember, you're going to be sitting at the desk next to them for 8, 9, 10 hours of the day, so they want to actually make sure you're a good person to be around.
Exactly.
And this is one way that you can show it, because you've already done so much activity. And the thing is, the experiences are not just about building your skills, they're also about gathering referees.
Yeah.
People that can speak confidently about you and your employability in Australia. Because a lot of international students, when they come over, they don't always have people that can comment on what they like to work with.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're back home, or it was maybe a few years ago that they worked. So for a lot of people, this will be their first opportunity to gather referees in Australia. And doing it through volunteering or work experience, you get to display yourself in a fairly risk-free environment, but be able to get people that say, wow, you work really well. You understand what it's like to get up in the morning, have a smile on your face, and present the best work possible.
Yeah.
And for an employer, they actually then have confidence that, wow, you're so much more than just these skills. You've integrated into the environment, and you're nice people, and we want you here. And it's like that try before you buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably added to that, like at UQ, we have a careers fair as well every year, where actually employers come to UQ and they have the opportunity to actually interact with actual companies, like multinational big companies, and that gives you an idea as well, like what they're after and what they want in you, and maybe like if they're lucky enough, maybe you can get an internship or a job.
Well, and that's it, because once again, we're trying to lower the barriers. So we're bringing employers to you.
Yeah.
They're right here on campus.
Absolutely.
You don't need to go searching for them.
Yeah.
You walk in.
They're all here just in one
They
building.
are. And they're there to tempt you to come and work for them.
Yeah.
They want to talk about their culture, the type of people they're looking for. Because you have to remember, as much of the employers are interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. Because you want to make sure this is a company I want to work with. This is an opportunity I want to take on and become part of my life. And you can go, yes, this is where I want to be. So yeah, definitely, it's a great opportunity, and everyone's rambling.
Exactly.
It's a nice way to meet people.
And I just like to add that, and it doesn't have to be big companies that you're trying to get internships for. Like, it can be hard, but UQ is very startup friendly. We have lots of entrepreneurship innovations and initiatives. There's lots of startups, and it's a great way for you to get some transferable skills as well. Like myself, I study science. It's very research based, but I also have passion for social media content development as well as graphic design. So I actually signed up to be an intern for a startup that's completely not so related to my scientific research, but there I could work with a pro graphic designer and learn more skills from there. So it really doesn't have to be big companies to start with.
Exactly. And the thing is as well, startups are a great environment to build so many different skills. You're not going to be locked into the one role, because they'll say, can you do a little bit of this? Can you do some of this? And you go, yes, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
And the thing is with startups here at UQ, you don't need to be the person who has the idea. You don't need to think, oh gosh, I don't have this idea. There's so many other people that do, but they're looking for individuals with other areas of knowledge and expertise that they can bring in.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to then try it out, risk-free.
Yeah, and if you don't have an idea, we have something called Idea Hub, which is a 6-week program that basically help you meet people, creative people, and you just get ideas all the time after attending that program.
Yeah.
Probably what I'll add is like UQ offers everything you need basically. You just have to go out and look for it. And so there's all kinds of support that UQ has, like in terms of employability, careers, everything, your resume, interview, you just have to go out there and just seek it basically.
And also actually UQ brings all of them in under one roof actually. Most of the companies that are fair, they do a careers fair every semester, I think they do it, or every year.
Every year. Because they're so big, they take about 9 months to organise.
Yeah.
And that's because it's actually the largest in Australia.
Yeah.
So, you'd be lucky enough to be part of an incredible experience that offers nowhere else in Australia at the size that it is.
Exactly. And one of my friends actually get application program with the Brisbane Council.
Yeah.
They do a special program for international students for like a month. They work on, and they are very flexible in terms of working hours with them. And they always hand you like a solid project, you work on it. And he got it through UQ actually.
Yeah.
That was really like amazing thing to add to his CV.
Exactly, because it's really about building your portfolio. And I think the thing that you will demonstrate is you've been doing that, but in such different ways. And the thing is, it's been about what you're passionate about. What can you take and try out? And the nice thing is, because it's such a safe environment to be doing this in, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work out. Maybe that idea wasn't going to be $1 million. Maybe it didn't work, but the thing is, you could try it. And if it doesn't work out, you can also go, I've decided this is not what I want to do with the rest of my life. But that's just as valuable as knowing what it is you do want to do. Exactly. Because you filtered the ideas, tried something and going, I now know where I want to go.
Yeah, and you can always learn from your experience. I do believe that there's no wrong experience. Experience is always there for you to just try it. And I think for my own experience, my own opinion, I do think that I know myself even better, like even way more better after I took all of those experiences. So yeah, I think, and again, UQ have lots of activities, programs, fees, and also a great supporting system in UQ that can actually help you to do that. So yeah.
I'd just like to add to that. We have a question about how to find part-time jobs in UQ. I like to say with the student services, there are cover letter and resume kind of like workshops where they can help you write a better cover letter and improve your resume. And we also have the Student Employability Center at the university has a website, and they post every day new jobs, casual jobs, part-time jobs, full-time jobs, volunteering opportunities. Every day it's updated. You can look online. You can apply for the job. Sometimes they're through UQ itself, and so you could actually just screenshot of a job that you're looking for, bring it to the career services and ask them, I want to apply for this job, can you help me with the interview process? And they drill you, they ask you questions, they look at your resume and let you know how to improve it. And so I've used that service before. UQ Student Services has actually helped me get like 2 or 3 jobs during my time here. And so I think it's a great service to take advantage of.
Another effective approach that from my experience that helped me find part-time jobs here in Australia was actually to personally go to different shops and malls around this. Well, you come here, you're gonna see there's a mall around you. Just print your resumes. I did like print to 10 resumes, went to the crowd, dropped them off, talked to the manager. And every time I've been lucky enough to find a job. And it worked every time for me. So basically, like a lot of times you're applying online and they can't really see you as a person. They see you what you qualify as. And especially for me, I didn't have any experience. So for me, the best thing to sell to a probably the manager, the people looking for people was myself. Like, what do I offer as a person, I guess? How keen I am, how good I am, I guess.
Exactly.
And that was basically how keen you are to learn. And that's what I basically went and like, I'm really keen, I really want to do it. And they saw that. And I
Passion,
exactly.
enthusiasm. That is worth 80% of the engagement in your interview there. And that's why people, when they first go for an interview, even for their casual job, they're there going, I thought they were going to ask me, how do you do this, which I've never done before. But instead they asked me what my hobbies were, was I interested in sport, and I was really surprised. And we actually had a great conversation. And at the end of it, they said, well, we'd like to offer you the job. And it was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. It was much easier. But I think what it's also showing you is that it is about those interpersonal skills and about communication. And the casual and part-time job, it doesn't matter whether it's related to your degree yet. Because you're creating those transferable skills that you're going to be able to take and put in any industry and any job.
And I think getting to that point, the important bit is UQ itself, how they give you the confidence that you go out there and go and talk to people. That is, I think, one thing about UQ Great is like they have these student societies that we, I think, all been part of, and other events and other different workshops and everything, how you get involved in them and help you, I guess, build yourself as a person, give you more confidence, and give you, I guess, realize what you want as a person and give you confidence. So you just go out and just I guess seek whatever you want, and the other people can see the confidence in you as well, that this person is he knows what he wants and he's really confident, and I guess that's what an employer is looking for.
But I sort of also say to you, don't be scared if you don't have the confidence initially, because for most students, when they come to the UQ Career Service and also the Student Employability Centre, they're really coming for three key reasons. Usually the first one is, I need the tools to be able to do this. Like, how do I do an interview? So we can do that. That's great. Then it's like, I want to know, how do I connect with people? So we do that. We have different events. For example, employers come on campus and do presentations, or there's a careers fair, so we can connect people up. And then the third one is, sometimes people do need help with being confident, so we try to motivate people. And sometimes we're your cheer squad, where you get to come in and we go, you're doing an excellent job, you're on track. Now just go out there and do it. Because sometimes that can be the hard part. You just want someone to go, yes, I'm doing the right thing.
And also, I might add to the UQ offers also to be a tutor as well. If you achieved really good grade on that subject, and you could apply for it to be a tutor. It depends on the course you're doing actually. And also past
you can be ambassador as well.
Exactly.
You can be like us.
International student ambassadors actually.
Sometimes the challenge is you've got so many opportunities, it's hard to balance them and go, what do I really want to do? Which job, which opportunity? And because the thing is, we're also here to do some study as well.
It's all about time management actually, how you manage your time.
All right, we have a poll. So Alia, what's
So our third and final poll for the webinar today is what would you like to do when you visit Brisbane? So we're just gonna run the poll and see what you guys answer.
So what do you guys do when you came to Brisbane?
What was the first thing?
When I first came to Brisbane, I went to the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary.
So cute.
Saw the koalas, saw the kangaroos for the first time in my life.
I guess that was the first impression about Australia. It's fully filled of kangaroo and koala.
And so much outdoors. Actually, the first thing I did in Brisbane when I came here was rock climbing. Actual rock climbing.
Oh wow, I got rock climbing. I found my true love rock climbing in Australia. Now I go 3 times a week and my hands are all wrecked because of that. There's so many different sports you can do here as well. And if you do like rock climbing, definitely check out Kangaroo Cliff, which is a very famous tourist place, and it's also a great place for rock climbers.
I think I went to like actual rock climb professional thing, and they were like all these professionals there, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And they were like, no, go for it. And they had they were like giving me confidence, backing me up, and I had really sore forearms after that. But it was a good experience. It was very fun.
There's a lot of things you can do here.
Okay, so answers right here. 42% of you want to go to the Gold Coast.
Oh.
Not actually in Brisbane, but the Gold Coast is amazing.
Yeah, it's just you just have to catch a train and you get
highlight
it.
of
31% actually wants to see the beautiful St. Lucia campus. That's amazing. That was one of the first things I did with my mom when we came. We took an entire campus tour and it was breathtaking. So 9% of you want to see South Bank. Great. Mount Kuta Lookout, 4%, and 13% of you guys want to see the koalas and the kangaroos.
Probably I'd like to add a fact here. There are 50 million kangaroos in Australia, so you'll see plenty of them while you're here.
15 million koalas?
50 million koalas here.
50.
Sorry, kangaroos.
50 million
Kangaroo,
kangaroos.
double the population
Yes,
of.
there's a lot.
Oh, sorry guys. Actually, I've been notified. There's okay. No, it's all good. So there are 50 million kangaroos here, double the population of actually people here in Australia.
Oh my god.
So you see plenty of them while you're here.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And also just a program that really helped me settle down at uni and meet friends. In the beginning was a program called Chatmates, which basically
Oh, yes.
meet up with, I guess, a group of people with 2 English-speaking leaders every week for 2 hours, and then you just kind of chat about the culture, whatever you do, and the leaders can also take you to the museum or take you to a sport. It ran for a semester, and I got some friendships and really boosted my confidence as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. I guess that we had. This is it.
Yeah. Give us all the advice about the kids.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. It was an honour to also hear the experiences that you've been involved in. So you guys are going to be fine. You're going to be our success story. So congratulations on the good work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess I'd like to thank everyone for joining us, and for all your questions that won't answer, just be with us for the next 30 minutes. They'll be answered by the UK team here. And thank you so much once again, and hopefully you had fun, and we had really a lot of fun.
We had
I think.
really good fun, yeah.
I guess bye from all of us for now, and hopefully we see you at UQ
One day.
one day,
day.
real soon. All right, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
See you.